What is up, guys? It's Troy at the Full Setup here, back with another review for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at some awesome streaming lights from Godox. These are the ES45. They are available in singles, or you can also get a twin pack of these lights, and you can buy one of these lights for the same price as an Elgato key light. Now, I was looking at the key lights for a while because I wanted some more compact lights to go on my desk to replace my larger sort of Falcon Eyes light that I used to have over here, and then I had a sort of similar sized light to the ES45, or the key light that I used as my secondary fill light. Now, the reason that I didn't buy the Elgato key lights and that I wasn't interested in them wasn't actually just down to the price, okay? Because to be honest, with the camera lens, which we'll talk about in a minute, that I'm using, even the key light Air would suffice. But for me, it was being locked into Elgato's ecosystem. Now, I'm a big fan of Elgato products. I'm not really a massive Stream Deck user, and when I buy lights, I'm not just going to use them at my desk. I'm going to take them off my desk at times, whether because I'm using B-roll or just trying to do some more creative lighting. I made them take them into work with me as well for some of the video stuff that I do at work. So for me, it's very important to be able to control the lights on the light. Now, the ES45 goes one step better because where you control the lights at the back, it actually pops off to this wicked little module where you can do some groups, you can control different lights, control any light that you want. You can also do all the kelvins, the brightness, charges from the light, and also has a USB-C charger on the side. There is also app control as well, which I'm going to show you later in the video. And, for me, the quality of these lights, as you're going to find out as I talk about them through this video, they're pretty much match for match as good as the Elgato key lights, and you get two for the price of one. What's not to love? So I'm going to take you in for a close look in a minute, tell you everything I like about them. It's going to tell you a couple of things I don't like about the lights. But before we continue with all of that, I think I need to tell you a little bit about the setup and everything that we've got going on today, okay? So we are using a Sony ZV-E10 with a Sigma 16mm f1.4, but I'm at f2. I'm currently shooting at 4K 25, which means my shutter speed is set to 1/50, and my ISO is all the way down to 100. My white balance is set to auto, which I'm going to talk a little bit about at the end of the video, and we might see it crop up at some point in this video. I've had to wait a little bit later in the day until the sun's moved. So yeah, I'll tell you all about the troubles that I've had with the new setup. Also as well, all the B-roll for this video was shot at the last setup, so apologies that it might look a little bit different. It doesn't quite look like what you're seeing here. Anybody that knows me on the channel and stuff, and people that I talk to on a regular basis, knows that sadly I sort of had a bit of a relationship meltdown of late. So yeah, whole new setup and whole new studio. So again, and also a massive apologies to Godox on why it took me so long to make this video. That is why. So yeah, I do apologize. But in my self-defense, the microphone you sent me, the video came out for that very quick. Okay, so yeah, apologies. And I hope we can still have a working relationship. So over to the lights then, over to the lights. So firstly, it doesn't matter if you buy one ES45, two ES45, six ES45, 100 ES45 lights. They all come separate, okay? So if you buy a twin pack, you get two separate boxed ES45 lights. And they're available from about £100 for one light or 200 for another, 200 for the twin pack. But do have a hunt around. I have seen the twin packs go down as low as 175, which is just an absolute wicked bargain. Now, one thing, when the box arrived at work, I was surprised at how weighty it was. Remember, I'm going to keep saying it in this video, you get two of these lights for the price of one Elgato key light. So, I was happy even before I opened it. I was like, it feels like there's some quality products in here, but you're never going to know until you've plugged it all in and tested them out. So inside the box, you obviously get the light, you get the cable, and then you get the mounting poles as well. Now, if there was one thing that I wish you included, and I was really annoyed not to see in there, was just some sort of like Velcro straps for strapping the cables down to the poles. Us, content creators, streamers, gamers, no matter what you're buying these things for, we take pride in our setups and we take pride in our desk areas. So the fact that the cable is just hanging about there, and it's just looking loose, it looks messy, it's just something that I've got to go and order later date off Amazon. It doesn't really cost that much for you to put 3 or 4 little straps in the box, and I feel that just completes the package a little bit more. So that's just a minor thing. Now, as for the poles, this is somewhere where I thought that Godox could really cheap out on. So when Elgato originally released the stream lights and their multi-mounts and all that sort of stuff, I was just really surprised that nobody else had been making that kind of gear, just your normal Amazon regulars like Neewer and Adora and all those sort of companies. And they did bring them out like 6 to 9 months later, but their original ones were kind of half the price of Elgato and really half the product. I've got a couple of them, but they don't go that high. They wobble all over the place. The clamps aren't that good on them. These poles that Godox have supplied are as good as the Elgato ones as far as I'm concerned. Really high quality, really nice matte finish to them. At the heights I've got them at the moment, so I've got one about 2 foot, the key light's about 2 foot above my desk, and the fill light is about 1.5 feet. Literally no wobble on them. They look super sturdy. Now they go really high, and when you put them right up to the top, you know, there is, you know, a bit of wobble, but that's just gravity, isn't it? Physics and stuff. They are going to wobble around. Okay, they're going to move around. The ball heads are really nice quality as well. I'd put them in a 10 to 15 pound kind of ball head quality. Both the lights are sort of tilted forward a little bit, and not once have they tipped down throughout my use. Tighten, and they have stayed tight. Now, I was also super happy to see that the cables are a really good length as well. So even if you put the poles all the way up, you can guarantee that the cables are going to touch the floor. You're not going to have to get like an extension lead that's going halfway up your pole, and that looks stupid as well. I think they were 3 to 3.5 meter cables when I measured them. Now over to the lights. Like I said, when I lifted the box, I knew there was some weight in here, and I knew there was some good quality, and it wasn't all the poles. Okay, the lights have got a really nice weight to them, absolutely fantastic build quality. Like the back of these lights, the way that this thing snaps off the side, just everything about it, the design, how they built them, you know, they're good enough. They ooze quality. Okay, they do not feel like cheap lights. I have bought LED panels in the price category between 70 and 100, which I've got nowhere near the build quality of these lights. And it is a shame because the backs look really nice on them, but you're never going to see them. Kind of, you know, like gaming monitors, they stick all this RGB and make them all look fancy, don't they? And like a spaceship on the back. But my monitor's like literally facing a windowsill. I'm never going to see it. But yeah, they do look really nice. And one of the things that I absolutely loved about them, which is why I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, is that the tripod connection is on all 4 sides. So actually at the moment, I have them in portrait instead of landscape. It's the only way I'm able to create a little bit of shadow, and I'm still not able to create the same shadows I had with using one big light and one small light. But yeah, I just preferred them like that. They look nicer in landscape view, but the fact that if you're in a more compact setup, if you're in a tight desk, or maybe you're just taking them somewhere, the fact that you can also put these in portrait as well as landscape, I think is a really good thing that you did there. So big up to you, Godox, for doing that. Now, getting 2 of these for the price of the key light is one thing, but like, how do they sort of compare in specs and stuff? Now, I don't have a key light to hand, and I don't have a light meter to hand to test both of the company's claims, but Godox have got so close. It's like ridiculously close how well they perform to these lights. So for the size, the length of the Godox is 367 millimeters and the height is 230. Now the Elgato light is 350 in wide and 250 in height. So, you know, one's a little bit longer, one's a little bit higher, but they are so close in size there. Now, the Elgato is brighter at 2800 lumens versus the Godox at 2500, but the Godox has better CRI ratings at 96 versus Elgato's at 92%. But like I said, I've got nothing to test those claims to give you the numbers and to give you all of that sort of stuff. But what I will tell you is, although I am kind of at like f2 today and using a larger sensor camera, although I don't have tests to show you, I have messed around with using these with like my iPhone as a webcam, which is a relatively small sensor. I've used them with a couple of cheap webcams I've pinched from work as well. And even if you're at higher frame rates, say if you're at like 50 or 60 FPS when you're using an even higher shutter speed and letting less light on, there is more than enough light in these. Okay, I don't know if I've already mentioned it, but I've got this one over here at like 2% and this one at 25%. So there's a lot more wiggle room and a lot more play in these lights. There's a lot of light output, and they'd be bright enough with any device you're going to use them at in any room. It doesn't matter how dark it is. One thing I would recommend is though, is that if you are going to use them like this, kind of feel some light in the background. That's just going to make you pop a little bit more. My next one is to kind of light up this wall. Maybe if Godox, if you wanted to send me over that little dome light, I forgot what it's called, your little 10 watt RGB light. I think that'd be perfect for this wall there, but that's something that I would definitely recommend as well. If you're buying these lights, just get some little fill lights, something that you can put in the background to really make that image pop. Now you could actually just use one of these lights as like a key light, and then you could have the other one behind you to create that kind of halo effect, and that would work very well. Now I got completely sidetracked there because I wanted to talk about the little controller versus the app. Over to the controller then. Well, firstly, it's a fingerprint magnet. Secondly, the USB-C charging ports on the side, which is a little bit of a killer there, you know, should be on the back so I can just have it on my desk, but it does charge on the back of the device, and it does, the screen goes off after a little bit of time. So I haven't actually really run out of battery on this at any point, and sometimes it's just been left on the desk for a few days, so I don't know how long the battery lasts with it going into standby so quick. Now, the cool thing about this is, I don't know if you can see that there, it says like A here, and then up at the top it says channels. Okay, so you've got 3 groups, A, B and C, and I think the channels go from 1 to 32. So what I'm able to set up is I can say I'm on group A and channel 1 is this light, channel 2 is that light, and I can set them so they're independent, and I can adjust all of that and set everything how I want. Now, you might also want to set them both at the same time, because you want your light output to be the same from each light. Maybe if you're using a green screen, streaming, consistent lighting, all of that sort of stuff. And the thing that's happened with this is that I can set that. I can set the groups. That's what I did. First I set them up individually, then I set up a group, and then I went back to my individual setting and it didn't work anymore. So it's almost like you can have one or the other. I don't know if I'm reading the instructions wrong here. I could be getting it completely wrong, but I have 2 newer lights that are very similar. Don't have this that pops off, but like channels and groups with remotes, and it is the same thing. So I've almost just been keeping this for just consistent lighting. Just when I want to turn both on at once, I want both set to something. Sometimes not even when I'm using video, just because I want them as lights for the room. And that's what I've been using this for. And then for getting a bit more granular, I have been using the app. It's pretty simple. It's just got your lights on there, and you can rename them. So one's named left, one name's right. I can turn one off. Do you know what I mean? Turn one back on again. Go in there, adjust the kelvins, you know, to what I want. And yeah, that's it. Pretty simple. So I know what you must be thinking here. You said at the beginning of the video you don't want to be locked into an app ecosystem. The thing is, I can still have both of these controllers on the back of the light and change them as I wanted. I would have still purchased these lights, even though Godox sent them to me. I would have still purchased these lights if this didn't pop off. I didn't know that this popped off when I first started looking at the ES45s. I didn't know about that, okay? Even if it didn't have the app control. Yes, you could say you have to keep getting up and it's faffing around, but the thing is, once you set your lights for the mood that you want for your content, it's generally a set and forget kind of thing. That's how you always want them. And it'd be the same, you know, if you're doing a Zooms or a Teams meeting, you've turned your lights on before and you've set them up as you want. You don't need a Stream Deck. Okay, I know there's some massive Stream Deck fanboys out there, and if that's absolutely imperative to you, yes, fine. But you don't actually need lights that integrate with your Stream Deck. Okay, and you shouldn't have to buy lights that will only work with their app or a Stream Deck at the cost of £400. I know for this setup here, I would get away with using the Keylight Airs, which would come in a touch more expensive than the ES45s, but it's a no-brainer to me. If I wanted a decent set of streaming lights that have all the features that I need, that are going to give me a good lighting source, that are going to pair well with my camera, this is what I would have gone out and bought. But luckily Godox sent them over. And I'm not just giving it a glowing review because someone sent something to me. If I don't like something, I will go out and tell you, okay? I wasn't massively, you know, over the moon about the microphone they sent me. I liked things about it, but I was critical about it, and they still sent me another thing. So, you know, that's good. You know, companies need to be able to take creative criticism, and I wouldn't review something if I wasn't allowed to say things I don't like about them. And the only things I don't like about them is, it would have been nicer if this channel and grouping was a little bit better, but you know, that might be me just being stupid. I really wish that cable was on the side and they put some Velcro straps in the box. I mean, come on, that's some minor stuff in the grand scheme of things, because the lights perform well and they complement my camera. And they complement the setup. And I'm telling you, even if you're just using the standard kit lens with your Sony camera or any other camera, these lights will still perform fantastically well. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're at f3.5. I was testing around where I was trying to get the background in shot because I was thinking, do I want that light in shot? And I was having to go up to almost f7, f8, and these lights kept up. I still got a clean image and I was still able to keep my ISO relatively low. Obviously not down at ISO 100, but I was able to keep it looking good. So yeah, end of the video waffle over there. If it was my money, would I go out and buy them? All day long, I would go out and buy these lights. Great poles, Great build quality, great price, great light output, great features, and you get 2 of them for the cost of one Elgato key light. What's not to like? Anyway, let me know what you think. For you, is the Stream Deck integration absolutely imperative and you wouldn't consider anything else? If that's your opinion, I would like to know why. And yeah, if you wouldn't, would you go out and buy these? Let me know in the comment section below. Please make sure you subscribe. Once again, Godox, apologies it took me so long to make this video. I've had a lot on of late, but yeah, I hope you like it and I'll be back with some more content very soon.